The Titanic enigma, beyond the ice. Not the ship, not the ending. I don't have much time. If you're listening to this, maybe I'm still alive, but the chances are slim. I've already been warned. Touch this subject, and you'll vanish like the others. So listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you has never been said in any documentary, archive, or textbook. Everything you knew about the Titanic is a lie. The ship didn't sink. The disaster was staged. And the truth is worse than death. Phase 1. Invitation into darkness. I joined the project in the summer of 1910 when I was still a young engineer from Harvard. I was summoned to a secret office known only as Bureau X-13. No windows. One long table. Polar maps. Photographs that, at that time, could not have existed. And above it all, a plan. The largest ship in human history, built not for luxury, but for escape. The Titanic was a cover. Its true mission, to transport the elite to Terra Incognita, a continent that begins beyond the icy walls of Antarctica. Sounds like madness? I thought so too, until I saw the Rutherford map, an ancient navigation chart from the 1500s, showing lands beyond the Antarctic, vast, fertile, filled with mountains and rivers, with no trace of modern civilization. That's when I realized we weren't building a ship, we were building an ark. Phase 2. Passengers with no way back. Why did they need to escape? Because those who controlled finance, energy, even governments, knew the world was going to change. War was inevitable. They were searching for a new home, a place to start fresh. No laws, no oversight. John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus. They weren't just millionaires. They were architects of a new world. And they boarded the Titanic knowing they'd never return. And the others? Waiters, cooks, crew? They were lied to. They thought it was just another voyage. But 2 days after departure, strange things began. Coordinates didn't match. The stars weren't where they should be. The ship was heading south, not west. And on the night of April 14th to 15th, the theater began. Phase 3. The grand staging. Before sunrise, at the coordinates officially marked as the disaster site, something else appeared. Not an iceberg. A sealed ice corridor, as if carved by design. Then, from the sky, a black airship descended, unmarked, and from it, a command: dump the excess. Over 700 people were deliberately forced into lifeboats. The ship moved on, deeper into the heart of the frozen continent. In the official version, those people were labeled survivors. But the truth is, they were abandoned. Only those who knew nothing survived. Hours later, all communication ceased. The Titanic vanished from all radars. And that was it. Phase 4. The continent beyond the wall. We first saw it 3 days later. Mountains glowing in sunlight. Rivers that shouldn't exist in this region. Flora that had no right to grow here. Beyond the wall, there was something else. There was no more contact. The ship left the navigation zone. Radio signals stopped returning. According to internal records I saw years later, the ship made landfall at a location known as Xavier K. Strait. After that, the trail ends. But the mission was accomplished. The ship arrived, the passengers lived, and we began the cover-up operation. Phase 5. Who staged the performance? Ever wonder why the inquiries into the disaster were so weak? Why the White Star Line avoided real accountability. Why the key witnesses either died or disappeared in the following years. Because the Titanic wasn't meant to sink. It was meant to vanish. This was Operation New Earth, a covert project run by several transnational corporations and secret societies. Everyone who could speak the truth either stayed silent or couldn't speak anymore. And me? I pretended to forget. Phase 6. Why I stayed silent until now. Because I thought it was better that way. Some truths, I believed, should remain unknown. But everything changed. My son found the evidence. He's in Antarctica now. And he's not alone. He saw what we saw. He's getting close to the same place. They're hunting him. So I'm recording this. If something happens to me, he'll know the truth. Because Titanic is no legend. It survived. It arrived. And those who walked ashore built a new civilization. And very soon, they will return. End of part 1. Part 2. The continent that should not exist. Ice Cube, we didn't cross the edge of the ice. We crossed the edge of imagination. Dr. Edward Bancroft. What part 2 will reveal. After the Titanic vanished, it entered a zone untraceable by any compass. There, beyond Antarctica's wall, a world waited that should never have existed. The continent of Argia, created, not born, covered in glowing night flora, mountains invisible to radar. The elite were separated. 33, chosen, stayed forever. The rest, erased. A city with no name awaited. And the black tower at its center, awakened. They were being watched. They were not alone. What they discovered at the heart of the continent shattered even the most steadfast minds. Because they understood, we were not the first, and we are not alone. Coming in part 2, the secret mission Argia, the hidden continent since the 17th century. Ruins without age, yet pulsing with power. Who built the nameless city? The activated tower, visions, and faceless beings. The first wave, the 33 chosen. Who were they, and where did they go? The return, how Bancroft's son uncovered the Titanic's trail in 2025. You thought the truth ended in the Atlantic? No, it begins in Argia. Backhand Index Pointing Right Part 2, coming soon. Subscribe now so you don't miss what they erased from the maps on purpose. Part 2. The continent that shouldn't exist. We didn't just cross the line of ice. We crossed the line of the imaginable. After that, no light on the world map felt real anymore. Dr. Edward Bancroft. Phase 1. The point of no return. When the Titanic passed beyond the frozen wall, we lost more than navigation. Compasses stopped working. Clocks froze. It felt as if time itself had shifted course. The people on board, industrial magnates, scientists, media tycoons, remained silent. They knew that beyond this boundary, there would be no way back. Ahead stretched a landscape that had no right to exist on our planet. Green valleys amid ice, a soft sun that neither blinded nor warmed, and a silence heavier on the ears than any Atlantic storm. Phase 2. The New Eden. The land had a code name, Argia. Old seafarers had once spoken of it, and then silence. Maps showing it had been withdrawn as early as the 17th century, and now we stood on its shore. The ice receded before us as if in welcome. Above, a black sky without a single star. Below, Earth that should not have been here. Everything looked too precise, as though nature had not shaped it. And it was no wasteland. It was a prepared world. Our researchers said oxygen levels were above normal. Plants that reacted to sound. Mountains that glowed at night. Phase 3. The Nameless City. After 5 days' march, our scouts stumbled upon ruins. Not ancient, but recently abandoned. A city of geometrically perfect structures, showing no signs of decay. The power was still on. Lights could be switched. But no sign of life. No one was there. Though everything hinted that they had only just left. That was the most disturbing part. The buildings were not of human origin. In every room, symbols that neither linguists nor codebreakers could decipher. Then Guggenheim said what none of us wished to hear. We are not the first, and we are not alone. Phase 4. The Chosen and the Cast Aside. From that moment, the division began. Passengers were split into 3 groups. The first, founders, were to remain and build a new society. There were 33 of them. The second, technical staff, stayed to maintain systems in case the plan faltered. The third, unneeded, were told they would be sent back. But the ship never returned, and no rescue came. Later we learned, the third group never made it home. They were recorded as lost in the disaster, though most never touched the water. They were kept in a temporary encampment until, one night, they vanished without a trace. That was when I decided to escape. Phase 5. The mechanism that awoke. At the city center stood a black tower, shaped like an obelisk. Everyone felt drawn to it. It had no doors, no seams. Yet it breathed. When Astor approached, it lit up, began to rotate. Something, or someone, had activated the device. The structure came alive. Clouds gathered where there had been none. The ground trembled. Then came the signal. Not a sound, a vibration. And everyone aboard began to see visions. An ancient city, the collapse of a great civilization, beings unlike any known, tall, luminous, faceless. Guggenheim lost his mind. Strauss vanished. Astor locked himself inside the tower and never emerged. Phase 6. The Watchers. The next day, we saw them. Silhouettes among misty hills. Tall, motionless, always at the same distance, never closer, never farther. They did not attack, but anyone who tried to leave was never seen again. I believe they were the ones who had left the city, and now they simply observed. When the tower was fully active, they turned away and disappeared. And we understood we were not exploring their land. They were watching to see who would be next. Phase 7. The Escape. I left Argia only after 3 months. A covert submersible capsule, part of an engineering prototype meant for emergency return. I took it with another engineer, Michael Rhodes. He did not survive to reach the surface. When we made contact, the American naval fleet recovered us. But instead of rescue, there was confinement. 28 years of silence, examinations, and reconditioning. I lived because I kept quiet. Until now. Phase 8. The Return. My son Nathan never believed my evasions. He found maps, old archives, decoded a marking on a 1912 photograph. He knows where the breach in Antarctica's wall lies, and he is already there. He reports, the city is still active. Traces of the ship remain, and the tower is breathing again. End of part 2. Next, the signal from Argia. Part 3. The signal from Argia. We thought we escaped. In reality, we followed orders. Not human ones. Dr. Edward Bancroft. Phase 1. Radio silence from the depths. I was living in Maine under a different name. I never spoke of Argia, or the Titanic, or Astor, or the tower. Not until I received the signal. More precisely, my son received it. During an expedition to Sector D-17, near the Queen Maud Shelf, their equipment registered a wave lasting 42 seconds. Repeating, modulated, and most importantly, identical to the one emitted by the tower in 1912. This was no coincidence. This was activation. Phase 2. They're back. Nathan and his team landed on the Lemire Plateau. What they saw matched my memories. A city, a spire, symbols untouched by time. But now everything was alive. The flora had grown into impossible shapes. The air had the composition of a tropical zone. But the key thing, silhouettes reappeared. Again, silently. Watching. No contact. But they weren't hiding anymore. They wanted to be seen. This is no longer reconnaissance, my son said through an encrypted channel. This is a meeting. Phase 3. Course change. Operation Omega. After the signal activated, the Pentagon held an urgent briefing with MI6. They found an old protocol in the archives titled Omega. Its essence, if Argia activates a second time, prepare for the return of the designated ones. This confirmed what I had feared. Astor, Strauss, Guggenheim, and others, they didn't just disappear. They were constructing a base. Their goal, to build a new society and return when the old world weakens. And it seems that moment has arrived. Phase 4. DNA from the future. One of the objects Nathan's team found in the city was a DNA sample vault. They were labeled not with names, but with symbols. But when one sample was analyzed, the results were astonishing. The genetic code matched the profile of John Jacob Astor IV, with 98.7% accuracy. Astor alive, or at least recreated. A new version, with updated genetics. Bioadapted to an environment unlike Earth. Phase 5. The artificial continent. That's when I revealed the final secret I'd kept for 70 years. Project X-13, which I was involved in, had another component. Not a vessel, but an Antarctic mechanism. We developed technology to control weather and climate systems in isolated zones. But later I realized, we weren't designing a climate for Argia. We were activating what was already there. The infrastructure wasn't ours. This continent, it's not natural. It was constructed, a launch pad for a new species. Phase 6. The return of the chosen. In 1989, an insider reported, within inner circles of global powers, talk had begun of Project Renewal. The idea, use the return of the chosen ones as a catalyst for a global power transformation. Announced the discovery of an unknown continent and the return of the Titanic's descendants. Establish a new, unified governance model, a post-national administration. And most importantly, these descendants are no longer human. They are engineered successors, hybrids, adapted to the energy of the tower. Phase 7. The words I feared to speak. Listener, I must tell you the truth. Not because I can, but because I must. The Titanic did not vanish. It fulfilled its mission. It delivered the core of a new world to a hidden domain. And now, They are coming back. The old order is weakened. Nations are divided. Technology no longer serves humans, it governs them. And in this moment, they emerge from behind the wall. If my son doesn't return, you won't hear part 4 of this story. But if he survives, he will bring proof. He has already seen them. He said just one thing. They are not like us, but they remember us. End of part 3. Part 4. After the return, we built the ark, not to escape, but to return stronger. John Jacob Astor 4. Transmission received in 2024. 1. The Tower awakened. 2024. Neva, 7 Station, Antarctica. My son, Nathan, had been silent for 3 days. Then the signal came through. Too clear, too powerful. The sounds, like music intertwined with voices. The language was not earthly, but rhythmic. Then a pause, and words in clear English. We are returning, and the world is no longer yours. It sounded like Astor's voice, but it wasn't. His face, his tone, yet something was unfamiliar. 2. The Chosen are alive. Nathan sent a video. It was 19 minutes long, and it changed everything. It showed the city of Argia, cleansed, illuminated, the tower, active, and among it, people once presumed lost. Astor, Strauss, Guggenheim, their descendants, alive, youthful, nearly unaging. Their appearance was hybrid. They retained the form, but not the emotion. Their eyes reflected artificial light. Their movements were silent. They had been rewritten. These were not copies or reincarnations. These were new life forms, built upon human consciousness. And they were returning. 3. Why the Titanic? From the beginning, the Titanic was not a symbol of luxury. It was chosen for its scale, media reach, and dramatic impact. They needed a myth, a story to distract, so the world would remember it as tragedy, not launch. So hundreds of lost lives would conceal the 33 who survived. Isolation, silence, control of information, because the Titanic was a test. But now comes the next stage. 4. The repopulation plan. According to intercepted data, the Chosen weren't just planning to return. They intended to restart civilization, but without traditional humans. The tower was just one part. At the center of Argia, a memory matrix, a vault of DNA, cultural patterns, behavioral codes. They are building a new society where emotions are programmed, leaders are engineered, and humanity is optimized. The old world, only a shadow. The new one, already among us. 5. Nathan's final message. At 4:12 a.m., I received the last package from my son. Inside, a 38-second video. He stood before the tower's entrance. His eyes shimmered. He spoke calmly. Dad, I understand them. They aren't hostile. They are the next step. I'm staying. I've become one of them. And that was it. No coordinates. No signal. Just endless silence. 6. The time of the awakened. 2025. In several parts of the world, individuals began to appear, claiming to have returned from the lost vessel. All were young, intellectually advanced, fluent in all languages, and carried a captivating presence. Governments remain silent. They are few, but they are real, and some are already in power. In corporations, in media, they have returned. 7. If you're hearing this, I may already be gone, or someone may be following me. I'm the last who remembers the Titanic for what it truly was. Not a ship, but a key. My son is no longer human, and the world you wake up in tomorrow no longer belongs to you. They don't seek war. They seek renewal, and it will begin with memory. So please, remember, the Titanic didn't sink. It's returning, and with it, a new era. The end.